Welcome to the newest edition of ABBA magazine. In the last days of the year 2015, 3 rounds of the regional championship have been played. Budućnost will welcome the New Year's Eve at the top of the standings, while j.t.d is close second following a streak of 10 wins. Zadar's sharpshooter Ante Delaš speaks his mind for ABBA magazine. And we wrap it up with the top 5 plays. Budućnost put an end to the short-lived collaboration with Doron Lemb. The American left the club after playing in only one game, and he'll continue his career in Turkish Konya. The team from Podgorica replaced him with the experienced guard Julius Jenkins, who has spent most of his career in Germany, where he played for Alba, Bamberg and Oldenburg. The defending champion Crvena Zvezda also made some changes to the roster. Marcus Williams, one of the players instrumental in winning the championship ring the previous season, is gone after only 3 games in ABBA League. His replacement is Vasilije Micic, returning to Belgrade from Bayern Munich. Another newcomer to the team is the former Partizan player Terence Kinsey. The ex-member of Memphis, Cleveland and other European teams is coming from Turkey, trading places with Ryan Thompson, who will move to Trabzonspor. Thompson was a disappointment this season, scoring just 5 points per game. Željko Lukajic is no longer the coach of j.t.d. The club parted ways with the veteran coach after a loss to Olimpija in Ljubljana. The champions of Bosnia and Herzegovina will replace him with Dragan Bajic, who led the team in its most successful season ever, winning the first place in the regular part of ABBA League season and a place at the Final Four. j.t.d has reinforced its front court with the American Chris Booker, who has been a part of the regional championship before with Krka. Kosta Perovic has announced his retirement from professional basketball. Perovic tried to make a comeback from knee injury with Partizan this season, returning to the team with whom he won a championship ring in ABBA League before. During his colorful career, he played for Golden State Warriors, Barcelona, Valencia, Unicaja and Yenisei. Krka has 2 new point guards. After Dusan Katnic left Novo Mesto, the first player to join the team was Matic Rebec from Rogaška, the top team in the Slovenian league. The next player to join the team was Boban Tomic, who was considered for the Slovenian national team this summer. Boris Savovic is the new player of Megalex. The experienced power forward joined the youngest team in the competition after leaving Turk Telekom. This player has already represented Hemofarm, Crvena Zvezda and Budućnost in the regional competition. MZT Skopje has also brought in some reinforcements. Uroš Lukovic has joined his younger brother Marko on the roster of the champion of Macedonia. The 7-footer spent the first part of the season in Kumanovo, where he averaged 24 points and 12 rebounds per game. Nikola Malešević is no longer a member of Metalac. He averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds in Valjevo, and after terminating his contract with Vladimir Đokic's team, Malešević signed with Steaua Bucharest. Budućnost fortified its position at the head of the standings with a pivotal win over Crvena Zvezda in the Morača Hall. Luka Pavicevic's boys started off furiously and were up by 17 in the first period. Crvena Zvezda had trouble scoring jumpers but still managed to put together its best offensive period and with a 14-0 run got to within 3. However, the team from Podgorica was able to stop the visitors in their tracks with scoring runs in the third and fourth quarter. Led by the brilliant Dragicevic, who scored 20 points, Budućnost won 68-54. Credits for the win go to Alex Maric as well, with a double-double performance, 16 points and 10 rebounds. In Crvena Zvezda's fourth defeat this season, Marko Guduric was the most efficient with 20 points. Megalek's team made a huge step towards securing a playoff spot, beating Partizan in a spectacular game marked by an amazing comeback. With support from the stands, Petar Božic's team reached an 18-point lead. However, by the end of the third period, the visiting team cut the deficit to 3 points. After a 31-8 run, they took the lead in the final period of the game, and thanks to Danilo Nikolic, who scored 19, and Aleksandar Aranitovic, who scored 15 points, they stole the win and Partizan's chance to participate in the playoffs. In the psychologically tough defeat, the most efficient player amongst the Black and Whites was Kevin Jones with 21 points and 15 rebounds, while Wilson added 13. Cedevita had no trouble beating Sutjeska in Zagreb 73-50. Coach Veljko Mršić decided to spread the minutes equally amongst his players due to a tight schedule and gave James White a breather. The home team cracked the rivals' resistance with a scoring run in the third quarter, increasing the already convincing lead until the end of the match. Miro Bilan recorded yet another double-double with 15 points and 13 rebounds. Pulan added 10 points, enough to keep Cedevita at the second place in the standings with a 10th victory of the season. In Sutjeska's 11th defeat, the most efficient player was Pavlicevic with 17 points. Krka managed to grab an important victory over Zadar in Krešimir Ćosić Hall 74-67. During this extremely inefficient game, marked by a number of turnovers and low field goal percentage, Ivan Velic's boys were better at handling the pressure and won for the 7th time this season. Zadar's streak of 3 wins in front of the home crowd came to an end. The most efficient player in the team from Novo Mesto was Sinovec with 17 points, while former Zadar's team captain Ivanov added 16. Delaš was once again the top scorer for the home team with 20 points. MZT grabbed the second consecutive win under the management of Aleksandar Jončevski, this time in Valjevo over Metalac 77-68. With the exception of the first period, both teams struggled scoring from the perimeter. The visitors from Skopje grabbed the lead, scoring easy points on fast breaks after steals and defensive rebounds. Vladimir Đokic's team threatened for a moment in the final minutes of the game but ran out of gas. Drenovac and Marko Lukovic scored 15 points apiece for the winning team, while the top scorers for the home team were Malešević and Kutlešić with 13 points each. Cibona overpowered Typhoon in Celje with an unexpected score of 74-52. The most efficient players in Cibona's 6th triumph of the season were Ivica Zubac with 16 points and Jagodić Kuriđa, who added 12 points and 12 rebounds. The only player who put in some effort to prevent Typhoon's 8th defeat of the season was Sandi Čebular with 17 points. The home team couldn't count on Siola Clark. His replacement Domen Bratož managed to score 9 points, but he was also responsible for 6 out of team's 16 turnovers. In a matchup of teams looking to end their losing streaks, Olimpija beat Igokea 79-63 in Ljubljana. The home team led throughout the game with a double-digit advantage mid-first period 16-6. During the second period, Sava Lešić gave Olimpija a 19-point lead. Even after the break, Igokea posed no threat to the home team, allowing Olimpija to make up for the 9-point loss in their meeting in Laktaši, in case teams get to be neck-to-neck at the end of the season. The MVP of this game was Lešić, who recorded 21 points and 8 rebounds, while Miha Lapornik added 11. In the defeated team, Miloš Komatina stood out with 14 points and 6 rebounds. In the derby of round 16, Budućnost won at Megalex. Dejan Milojevic's team came close to defeating the league leader, but Budućnost came back from a 6-point deficit in the last 2 minutes of the match. Taking advantage of the hosts' lack of precision from the free throw line, they kept their winning streak alive with an 83-81 victory. The team led by Luka Pavicevic had 5 players scoring in double digits. Alex Maric had the team-high 18 points, Cook chipped in with 14, and Dragicevic added 13 points, including some vital crunch-time shots. Standout players in Megalex were Luvabo with 20 and Yaramaz with 18 points. A rivalry game in Zagreb ended in a blowout win for Cedevita. Cibona's hopes of continuing the winning streak under Damir Mula-Omerovic were shattered in the first period, with Cedevita up 27-12. Cibona simply couldn't find an answer for Miro Bilan. With 25 points and 7 rebounds, the league MVP takes most of the credit for the Croatian champions' 9th consecutive victory, 81-69. Babic chipped in with 13 points for the winners, while Cibona's top scorer was Ante Žižić with 13 points. Crvena Zvezda got back to their winning ways in the sold-out Pionir Hall, defeating Zadar 83-57. The defending champions won convincingly with a dedicated performance in the second half. The visiting team led throughout the most of the first half and kept in touch with the rivals until the 26th minute, at which point Crvena Zvezda took control of the game. With 8 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds and 5 steals, Stefan Jovic took the spotlight. The top scorer was Mike Cirbes with 15, while Miller added 13. Zadar lacked scoring from the backcourt and only the centers reached double digits, Marinkovic leading the way with 15 points. One of the ABA League's veterans is Zadar's top scorer this season, Ante Delaš. He made his debut in the regional competition as a teenager with Split, side by side with Damjan Rudeš, now an NBA player. What are his fondest memories from his early days in ABA League? It was my first club, the club that gave me my first opportunity, which wasn't a whole lot, but I tried to get the most out of it. I didn't log in significant minutes since I was still young, but I learned a lot from my teammates at the time. He spent the last 2 seasons with Cedevita, where he worked with Jasmin Repeša. At the beginning of this season, he returned to Zadar, where he previously spent 2 years. How does the club from Zagreb compare to the coastal team? There are differences and similarities between the two, but as a player it would be wrong for me to judge the coaches. They are the ones who should talk about, the players. There are no crucial differences, only in details, but it's all pretty much the same. With Delaš's arrival, Zadar improved significantly in the regional competition. He provided one of the best individual performances of the season against Partizan, leading his team to victory with 27 points and earning the MVP of the round title. Who was the toughest adversary he has faced this season? Zvezda, today. They really overpowered us, and I think that it's evident that they were our toughest adversaries so far. What are his plans for the rest of his career? I'm not the kind of person who makes long-term plans. I take it one game at a time and try to win each one. The only goal for the future is to try to play as best as we can, try to win, and find our way out of the small crisis that we found ourselves in. What are the club's ambitions for this season? Winning the trophy is every player's ambition, and the same goes for the clubs. We'll do our best to accomplish that. MZT reached their 3rd consecutive victory in Janez Sandanski Hall by beating Partizan. Lead changed hands quite often and the game was decided in crunch time, with Aleksandar Jončevski's men making better decisions on offense, winning 82-78. With 20 points, the latest addition to Macedonians roster, Uroš Lukovic, led the team to victory. Partizan's standout player was once again Jamar Wilson with 21 points. Jones added 14, but took 20 shots from the field to do so. Metalac outlasted Igokea in Laktaši 66-60. This was the first game for Igokea's returning coach Dragan Bajic after the club decided to let Željko Lukajic go. Metalac dominated from the beginning, reaching a 19-7 lead after the first 10 minutes. Gabric led the way for the guests in the first period, scoring 11 points. Igokea improved in the second half and the teams went into the final period leveled at 48 points. However, the short-handed Metalac team that had only 10 players available for this game showed more quality in the final quarter and reached a crucial victory in their potential fight for survival. The top scorers on the winning team were Jevtovic with 16 and Kutasic with 15 points. Igokea suffered its sixth consecutive defeat despite the efforts of Radenovic, who scored 14 points, and Pešakovic, who added 12. Sutjeska staged the biggest upset of the round 16, defeating Olimpija 86-78. The team from Nikšić played probably the best period of the season with an outstanding field goal percentage and a fantastic performance by Spasojevic, who scored 10 points on their way to a 26-18 lead. In the following period, the lead changed hands several times. Sutjeska decided the game in the dying minutes, recording their fifth victory of the season and the second against the team from Ljubljana. Their top scorer was Albijanic with 20 points, followed by Spasojevic with 15 and Žižić and Pavličević with 14 each. Without Zach Wright and Sasha Zagorac in the team, 25 points, 9 rebounds and 6 assists from Sava Lešić were not enough for Olimpija to avoid the 10th defeat this season. Krka and Typhoon played one of the tightest games of the season in Novo Mesto. The winner of the Slovenian derby was decided after 2 overtimes and 50 minutes of on-court battle. In the regular part of the game, the guests from Šentjur were closer to victory. Going into the final period, they were up by 14, but managed to score only 7 points in the fourth quarter. The first overtime period also ended with both teams leveled. But in the second one, the home team led by Sinovec secured a 103-96 victory. Sinovec scored 31 points with 6 three-pointers from 11 attempts. Budućnost's winning streak continued after beating Zadar 65-52. The team from Podgorica hasn't lost a game in nearly 2 months. The last team who managed to defeat them was Partizan in Pionir. Budućnost was mostly in control throughout the first half and they finished it with a 5-point lead, 29-24. At the end of the third quarter, the guests reached their first double-digit lead, 45-34. However, Zadar completely took the game over in the last minutes of the third and the beginning of the fourth quarter. Thanks to solid defense and excellent assists by Lovre Bašić, the home team leveled the score 46-46. But Budućnost scored 10 unanswered points and Zadar was no longer a real threat. Dragicevic was the game's MVP with 22 points, while Alex Maric added 13 points and 8 rebounds. In Zadar's fifth defeat in a row, Lovre Bašić scored 7 points and dished out 9 assists, while Filip Kraljevic finished the game with 12 points and 8 rebounds. The Cedevita Krka duel failed to deliver on a promise of an exciting game. With 14 offensive rebounds and Krka's 21 turnovers, Cedevita managed to reach their 10th victory in a row in spite of an under-par game. This was the 14th triumph of the season for the team from Zagreb. Pulan led the scoring list with 16 points. However, Žorić was the one who helped his team the most with 15 points and 7 rebounds. Miro Bilan spent only 23 minutes on the court, but nevertheless managed to score 12 points and grab 8 rebounds. In Krka's 9th defeat this season, Mulalic was the top scorer with 12 points. Sinovec scored all of his 11 in the first half. Lalic also scored all 10 of his in the first half and missed only 1 field goal, but incredibly didn't get any minutes in the second half. Crvena Zvezda ended a successful 2015 in Celje, Slovenia with a win over Typhoon 73-63. Dejan Radonjic's team held the opponent to only 28 points in the second half. The visiting team played well on defense but wasn't exactly inspired on the offensive end. They were excellent on the offensive glass with 19 rebounds, and Stefan Jovic played another great game, scoring 14 points and delivering 6 assists. Guduric scored all 11 of his points in the crucial moments. Dejan Mihevc couldn't count on Sandi Čebular for this game, and in his absence, Bratož was the top scorer with 16 points. In an incredibly dramatic game, Mega managed to defeat MZT in Skopje. Boris Savovic had a tremendous debut for Mega, scoring 16 of his 24 points in the first half. Dejan Milojevic's team reached an 11-point advantage in the second quarter, but Drenovac and Marko Lukovic reduced their lead, and after Danilo Mijatovic's three-pointer, MZT was only 2 points behind at the end of the first half. When the game continued, the lead changed hands in a dramatic finish. Stojanovski gave MZT the lead, only to be denied by Nikolic's three-pointer 2 seconds before the game ended. Megalex triumphed 77-76. Alongside Savovic, Nikolic gets the most credit for the team's 11th win. Uroš Lukovic did all he could, but MZT suffered its first defeat under head coach Jončevski after 3 consecutive wins. In between 2 visits to Pioniri, Gokeja suffered 6 defeats, but after an upset of Crvena Zvezda, they managed to repeat their feat with a win over Partizan. Not only that, they handed Petar Božic's team their 3rd loss in a row. Although Dragan Bajic's team was without 3 players, they managed to complete a comeback from a double-digit deficit at the end of the first and the beginning of the second quarter. The black and white team had trouble scoring from the field and ended the game with only 30% on field goals. Vuk Radivojevic had a key role in this very important win for the visiting team. He scored 26 points, among them 4 three-pointers. As many as the entire home team. Wilson's 20 points couldn't help the Belgrade outfit, and the home team suffered their 11th defeat of the season. Metalac managed to overcome Sutjeska 84-78 in front of the home crowd. The guests' top scorer Nemanja Vranjes was unavailable, and this put a dent in Dusan Dubljevic's game plan. The teams were evenly matched in the first half, but Petar Rakicevic exploded in the second, leading his team to an 8-point lead in the third quarter. Vladimir Đokic's men reached a double-digit lead by the beginning of the final quarter and reached their 2nd win in a row and 7th this season. The most valuable players from the Valjevo outfit were Kutašić with 19 and Rakicevic with 18 points. This was Sutjeska's 12th defeat, despite 22 points from Spasojevic. We begin our top 5 countdown in Zagreb with fantastic block from Miro Bilan. Arrival of Uroš Lukovic definitely sparked MZT. Georgi Drenovac assisted him for this alley-oop, but the team from Skopje lost to Megalex. We're back in Zagreb. James White with a powerful dunk for Cedevita's victory. That's why they call him the Flight. With one of the most spectacular shots of the season, Sutjeska's Nikola Pavlicevic from his own free throw line in Valjevo. The only play that could top that, Danilo Nikolic beats the buzzer with a 3 for the win, bringing Megalex a step closer to ABA League playoffs. Thank you for watching another edition of ABBA Magazine. See you again in the year 2016.